Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Tower of God Chapter 331, or Season 2 Episode 251. Now, I'm gonna be so honest with you, this is my third time recording this, and I recorded the whole thing before this, and then went to edit, and the sound was gone. Like literally there was no audio, so I had to set up everything again, to record again, test everything again and stuff, so to say that I have no no motivation to make this video right now is an understatement. I have the opposite of motivation, but it's either now or never pretty much. So I'm sorry if you can tell, but it's just so frustrating having to record something multiple times, especially after having done what I felt was pretty well on it. So yeah, that's probably going to be distracting me the whole time I'm trying to record this, so sorry if it comes across that way, but I have no motivation right now at all. But either way, a lot happened this chapter, and I was really positive in my review originally, and I'm still going to be very positive about the chapter, but just, man, my energy's not there. But yeah, either way, starting off at the beginning, I'm just going to go through part by part. Yurik's here. Started off pretty simple at the beginning. Yurik's here, Garam, Kronka, Evan, they're still in the whole Heljo. Yurik says Heljo told him when he was younger that he was going to use the power of the Red Thrissa for the benefit of everyone, so he's wondering what happened to that. Why are you like this now? And Heljo reaffirms what we thought we knew about him, of he only cares about escaping now. Then Yurik can't use Shinsu because whatever, it's just one of those things we're going to have to roll with. Yurik then says that he wants to talk with Heljo, and I thought it was an interesting dynamic where Bomb's trying to run and avoid blasts, and he's like, I feel like I just have an extra burden on my hands right now, and Yuri is sort of, what's the word, I guess kind of scolding Yurik, like, why on earth did you even come here to waste our time if you can't control Shinsu? So yeah, that was funny, and Yurik the whole time is like, I just want to talk some sense into him, I just want to talk to him, figure out what's going on here. So then we get kind of a backstory with Joe, and it's actually very good. So Joe told everyone that he was telling them, share our power, we should all work together, we'll change, we'll escape this floor, we'll go into the tower and everything, and he had this nice revolutionary goal in mind, and he said that because at that point he could control the holes and decide where Shinsu goes and all, that the Grand Old Master, that he said that he'd share the power of the holes equally with everyone, but in exchange they need to use the Grand Family's ladle to get all the souls out so that they can go and leave the floor. But Dasa decided to criticize him and try to imprison him. Though he tried to imprison him, Heljo was a complete boss, so he just brushed off all the scrubs he sent at him. But Dasa labeled Joe a traitor, and they ended up holding a fair, quote-unquote fair vote where a kid from the Grand Family won, basically because he was from the Grand Family. So Joe was like, well, I have no other choice, staged a coup. Dasa broke the ladle, saying, I'd rather break it than allow you to leave or whatever, because they had this, I don't know, and he brings up, he's like, between me and him, who was the true tyrant? And it's really good. It's a really great speech, and it's a great speech he has when, after that, we see Bombs just dodging attacks and all. We got Bomb and Yurik and Yuri talking. While they're talking, there's just Heljo in the background the entire time just giving a speech over them, and I loved it. And he talks about how he couldn't change the people, and one of my favorite lines, probably one of the best lines in the series, is where he was like, this place is a land of corpses with dead minds, not bodies. That was just such a cool line. So yeah, of course, then Haku's like, oh no, he'll die, talking about Bomb and stuff, and we cut away while Heljo charges up the attack, because that's always how it goes in this sort of situation. We cut to Dali confronting Kun's team. Rachel thinks about taking the ladle herself, and she actually runs off to presumably do so. Ryun starts talking about the Grand Family, saying they promised to let people leave after 500 years, but that was a lie, and anyone who opposed them had their souls placed in dolls or the leeches, and Dali says that they were just protecting their destiny, the destiny of them waiting for their savior and their savior that would come. And Rachel is just listening and becoming ever more disgusted at this. And yeah, that is definitely some bad guy shit. They pretty much, like Rian said, were just using the ladle as a sword to hold the Grand family in power. That's basically what they were doing. So definitely some bad guy shit going on from the Grand family. Delee's power is apparently sniper eyes, but that didn't really do much, as he got trapped by the Inakor pretty easily, and like that I guess shows the power of the Inakor. He was supposedly a high ranker and it was able to hold him. Of course the little bee was able to escape and that was able to later take down the lighthouse, but whatever. Point is, it held a high ranker level guy, at least for a moment. So Khun, then I like the strategic thinking here where Khun starts thinking about recruiting Heljo. He's like, Heljo wants to escape. If we have the ladle, we can keep the ladle and still help him escape. We can have both the ladle and Heljo. So that actually sort of works pretty well. We see Sachi and I finally again. They cleared the door and they're opening the door just as Khun's team is running through. But bam, the lighthouse gets hit. Delee rushes at Khun and Rachel stops him. And really, we have a great Rachel speech. And I thought this was really good for Rachel's character because she's like, I don't like Khun. He's tried to kill me. I've tried to kill him. They're definitely not friends. Both have tried to kill each other at times in the past. But she's like, any opportunity to give a speech about how much I don't like Destiny, I'm a save Khun if it means taking that opportunity to preach about how bad Destiny is. So yeah. I thought that was actually a really good scene for Rachel, and the speech was great as well. I liked the line she had where she said, Destiny only has value when you make it yourself. That was really good. She argues that they should just let her take the thing and leave. Heljo will go with her, and then bam, their tyrant's gone. She's like, I'll be your savior, baby. Just let me have this ladle. But in the background, while she's giving her speech, one of the panels, and I'm bringing this up because I saw in the comments, at least one person had brought up, and I saw in comments elsewhere other people bring it up. Wasn't Beta in that lighthouse? And my presumed thought was, okay, Beta's probably fine. He probably just when it got destroyed, it probably just knocked him out of it. It wouldn't have killed him or anything, because CU will kill characters realistically, but he wouldn't just kill them offhand like that, at least not if they're decently important. But actually during that speech there's a panel of Delee, and in the background you can see Beta. It's either, the lighthouse looks like it's on the ground, so it's either the destroyed lighthouse and he's climbing out of it, or he's climbing into a new lighthouse. It's hard to really tell because of the angle and everything. Either would make sense, of course. I would actually prefer if he was climbing out of the broken one, and he's like, well, damn, and we finally get to see Beta in the flesh again. But it also makes sense that he'd be climbing into a different lighthouse, because maybe, say, I don't know, does it work like that? Does Khun have multiple different lighthouse cubes that can hold him as part of the Inakor? I don't really know if that's how it works. But that would make sense so that Khun would still be able to use that ability. Either way, though, then Delee pretty much says, well, guess I'm gonna have to kill you too, Rachel. So pretty much it shows that the Grand family really doesn't even care about the whole savior destiny and stuff all that much. They're doing what it takes for them to stay in power. They say it's for destiny and all, but like Rion said, sword to keep them in power. Then at the very end, cutting back to Yurik and them, we find out that they dodged Heljo's attack because Yurik dug a hole for them to escape into, which I just thought was hilarious. Yurik with no Shinsu just jumped in and dug a hole. So they escape to Hackney and the bug and everything, and Yurik says he just needs to hit Joe once to knock some sense into him, and he takes off the anklet. And that's where we end. In the blog, some stuff to talk about that CU said. He said he was worried about writing with this contradiction, because he had to make the Floor of Death dangerous to rankers, but he also had to make rankers not look weak, because it's too early in the story to make rankers look weak. So he tried to balance the contradiction of, this place has to be dangerous to anyone, including them, but they can't make them look weak. He says something along the lines of the Yurik and Heljo fight will be next week. I think he says Yurik and Joe, the Boom Boom will start next week or something, but yeah. So they should start at least a little bit of a fight. And he also said it was hard to depict the floor of death without either going in one direction with the gore and the blood and stuff and making it, or the death theme and making it too cheesy, or going in the other direction, having it be too bloody and too gory to where they had to change the rating of the age rating of the comics. So I just thought that note was interesting because he was worried about the age rating of the comics. And that is it. Something I thought about towards the end in my earlier recording of this video was it'd be really interesting because I was like, well, Hell Joe can't really leave the floor of death with the Red Thrissa. That would kind of suck for the floor of death to be losing its guardian child or whatever. So I was thinking, maybe Hell Joe could travel with Bomb's group or Rachel's group. I guess CU could write either to be good. But say he unfused with the Red Thrissa, left it behind, and then went on with Bomb or Rachel's group to climb the tower. That would fit with him wanting to climb the tower. That could work out. Or I think a more likely thing is maybe he'll keep it and he'll just form into some sort of alliance with Yurik and Walhaiksong, or maybe he'll join Walhaiksong or whatever. But I think either way, Hell Joe, I think it's a very good writing thing that CU did, where this whole time we've thought he was the bad guy, even if he had some redeeming qualities, and the Desaz, or the Grands were the bad guys. But then, turns out, one chapter he completely 180'd us to the Grands are the bad guys now, and Hell Joe's the good guy. Kind of. It's still not quite so simple, but to put it in the most general terms, kind of that's it. But I thought it was a great chapter. I thought we had two really amazing speeches. Both Joe's and Rachel's speeches were really good. I thought Joe's past was great. I thought that Rachel had really good story and character development here. And really, this arc has been good for Rachel as a character. I thought too, though, because I was thinking, what kind of score do I want to give this? And I'm still going to give it a high score. I'm giving it 9 little B's out of 10, which is a really high score. But I even said in a review yesterday, I think I may be giving high scores too often. And it made me think about it, because when I was thinking about what I wanted to score this, and I was thinking about past and stuff, I was like, man, you remember that chapter with Kaiser's backstory? That was amazing. That was well worth the 10 out of 10. And then I'm like, man, I used to be really, really stingy with giving out scores that high back then. And I'm like, maybe I am giving out too high scores too often now, because that definitely deserved and earned that 10 out of 10. Same with the Ronan and Ieta fight. And then some things I've given 10 out of 10 to recently, I'm like, okay, they weren't really as good as that, so maybe I shouldn't have given them a 10. Just getting some retrospective thinking here. I think I may have even used that word incorrectly. But either way, rambling on. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Sorry once again that, man, I hope I remembered at least everything that I said in my previous recordings of this. It's just, I hate so much having to go back and re-record anything, so I'm really, really sorry. That's it. If you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this week's chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all. Subscribe for more Tower of God, whatever else. Plenty more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff with the channel. That is it. So thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all next time.